Excellent. I think we're live now. Hello, everyone. Greetings from sunny UK. It's lovely and beautiful here, and summer is in full swing. My name is Dagina Wetherill, and I'm the Director of Recruitment for Global University Systems UK division, which consists of a number of UK universities. Today, I'm extremely excited to talk about one of our premium partner University for the Creative Arts. And today, we will be talking about advertising, digital media, magazine publishing, and fashion, branding, and communications at UCA Business School. I'm extremely excited to welcome Mark O'Connor, Program Director for Branding and Communications at UCA Business School. And we also have Kathleen Hinwood, who teaches advertising at UCA. Hi, everyone. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining. We also have Kasha Cooper on Gus side, who is Relationship Manager between UCA and Global University Systems. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. And just before we start, few housekeeping rules. Everyone is on mute now, so if you do have any questions, feel free to pop them into the Q&A section, and we'll take it from there. Later, if you haven't started working with Global University Systems to recruit students for UCA, feel free to reach out to us on ucapartners@gas.global. I'll be sharing the inbox later as well. If you're a student applying directly, feel free to reach out to ucaquestions@gas.global, and we'll take your question from there as well. Other than that, sit back and enjoy. The recording will be sent to you later as well. And I really hope you find this webinar exciting, inspiring, and really useful. Over to you, Mark. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Mark O'Connor. As Dagana said, I am the Program Director for the Business School for especially our fashion branding courses and communication courses. So it's a pleasure to welcome you. Alongside me is Kathleen Hinwood, who teaches on advertising, and she'll be delivering some key things about the advertising course shortly. So I just wanted to give you some quick background about the business school. It's currently 3 years old. It's developing and it's widening, and it's getting much more bigger in terms of its prospect. Our business school is ranked 7th in the UK for businesses. So that every year that seems to be creeping up in the table. So it's a really good accolade for us. And the school is divided into 3 main business clusters. Our USP is obviously we are a creative institution, and as a business school, we really sort of pride ourselves on creative business very much as at the core of our strategy. So we devised a 3-cluster setting within the business school. So as you can see, the first one is mine, branding and communication, and I cover lots of courses that range from music branding through to digital media and digital marketing and social media, through to experience and service design, and then some of the courses that we're going to mention today. And then obviously we do some MA programs and MSc programs as well. So today really just going to talk about some of the undergraduate programs. And then on the other cluster settings, there's fashion, business and luxury, and business, traditional business management and marketing. So, and the reason why I'm sort of bringing this up, I think, is because there is some crossover with when you're a student with us. So you'll be, and as I'll explain in a little bit, you'll be sort of mixed in with some of the other students. So you have a real sort of sense of community within our business school. So the 3 settings sit alongside each other, but obviously house different programs within that. Our teaching approach is very much around professional practice and teaching methods. So as you can see here, we actively apply knowledge through problem solving, research, innovative and technical material development, but also we evidence clarity through the understanding of creative professions. So that meaning that we really sort of look at the workplace and the industry over time, and we embed that into our curriculum. Our curriculum is also discipline specific with interdisciplinary exposure. That means that you will gain exposure through other subjects, which I just mentioned in our cluster settings, and through the methodologies and techniques of ways of thinking, ensuring that you'll be able to appropriately equip this and navigate and adapt to change, because we feel that's really important. You know, change management is really important when it comes to developing your kind of our curriculum for you as you move forward into the workplace. Our units are set up like this. So we do, when you join us, you do a 2-week inclusive boot camp that's sort of set around university settings such as well-being and resilience, right through to entrepreneurship. So we set up a masterclass of 2 weeks where tutors from all different directions and career paths will come in and talk to you before you start your program. And then the programs, all of them are 15 credits. Some are 6 weeks and some are 12 weeks. So we got 2 main terms. First term is 60 credits and the second term the same. So, and then at the end of each term, we have a reflective period as well. So that's pretty much how our units are set up. I'm going to go into our branding and communication course now, which is relatively new. We were running a course called Fashion Promotion and Imaging, and this course really takes off from where that left off. So it's a name change, but it's also a slightly different curriculum development. But as you can see from some of the student work I'm about to show, that some of those things that we've brought along onto this course is part and parcel of what we've done before. So the highlights of this course, you will be taught by industry experienced team and visiting professionals. So we have all walks in terms of the branding and communication. We have photographers, stylists, art directors, visual communicators, illustrators, graphic designers, all come in and teach you on different modules. We do, in the second year, we do a live industry-based project with a brand. So we are working with different brands, such as, I think this year we worked with Farfetch and Oliver Brown, which is a swimwear resort designer. In previous years, we've worked with Nike and Vans and various other street brands. And the idea here is that we bring in a brand to teach you, to give you a creative client brief, and for you to, as a student, to sort of work that out and design something around that brief, and then pitch it back to the client. So we feel that live industry briefs are really important when it comes to our second year experience. We develop you through visual and written communication skills on this course across a broad range of creative media, such as creative direction and styling, art direction, graphics, as I mentioned before, but also journalistic writing as well. The course undertakes an internship and a professional practice year in our second year. So depending on whether you do the 3-year or 4-year program, you will either do an internship or you'll go out for a whole year into industry. We also do a study abroad program, the touring program. So that is designed for students in our second year, first semester, if they so wish to go to one of our host institutions and study a series of units there as well, so that we have the opportunity to take that up as well. And then, as I said before, the key component really of all our programs is that you study units with other business school students. So we see it as a real creative hub community. In terms of how that looks across the board, our units are sort of put together like this. So you'll do a bit of theory, and then you'll do the pink ones are core units. So only your course will study these. So fashion, branding, communication, the basics, really sort of knowing about branding and how you communicate through promotion and through marketing, and then right through to how you understand brand message through visual literacy, but also looking at other units as well. The purple ones are electives, so they are ones that you can pick and choose that to hopefully steer you in your career path. And then the dark blue ones are the shared units. So you'll be doing things with other students on other courses, such as the fundamentals of marketing and communications, through to the business seminar about understanding how consumer behavior works. So a bit of social science, and then looking at understanding trends and forecasting. Second year, sort of more electives come into play now. And the pink ones, obviously, I mentioned the live industry project. There's a brand generation as well, where we look at branding in more detail, and that crosses over with some of the advertising course as well. And then through to public relations and digital marketing, because these are some of the destinations and career paths that our students end up going into. Year 3 is more about your self-discovery. So it's about self-branding and promotion, right through to doing some more things around research and development, which is through our creative leadership lab, creative business startups. And if you are wanting to do a more sort of analytical route, then you would look at sort of data mining for marketers and maybe some audience evaluation, and then onto your degree project. So this is where fashion branding and fashion promotion collide or converge. And it's really about the projects that we set you are really around sort of setting up briefs where you can sort of work around the various modes of promotion and communication. So here are just a few examples of how first year projects pan out. So, for example, we set a branding project right at the beginning of term, and students would use that project as a self-promotion project to look through these various modes of communication. So it could be social media, collaborations between fashion designers and charities, or fashion designers and different designers, so collaborative spaces, a fashion film advertisement through TV, and a collaboration between brands, campaign imageries, that kind of thing, and then exhibitions as well. So this is just some first year work that we had. That was a pop-up store that they were working with Harrods, and then working through onto our second year, where students are really thinking about how they think and how they use promotion and communication through different means and modes of design. So this is one that was developed for a far-fetched brief, and it's called Fashion.
When we think about revolutionary fashion design, we might think about the first pair of jeans, the little black dress, an iconic pair of trainers. But changing fashion isn't just about creating beautiful garments. It's about creating a more beautiful system. Today, we know this system is harmful to our planet. To change that, we need the skill of designers, not only to create the clothes themselves, but to help find new materials, to invent new business models that change the way we use and own clothing, to understand people's behaviors, and to find ways to make fashion a force for environmental and social good. We need designers who want to reach to the heart of the problem, not just make tweaks at the edges. Revolutionary design changes aesthetics, but more fundamentally, it shapes our economy and our society. The designers making fashion fit for a circular economy are today's revolutionaries, creative pioneers who will have a lasting influence, not only on what we wear, but on how we live.
So that was a student teaser campaign for a far-fetched brief that we did earlier this year. So again, I'd like to show you just some of the work from the second year onto the third year. So we have as you cascade through the course and you understand all the units that I've described through, you know, from social sciences and understanding audience and things, you move into the third year and you create your final major project based on your own your own sort of interest. So we had a student. This is just a student that is exemplary, really. She graduated this. She's about to graduate this year, and she is from Bulgaria. She's a social media influencer with 450,000 followers, and her idea was really about creating a campaign, a fashion branding campaign that mixes technology with branding and with a deeper message, to create this campaign that was around behind the mask. Obviously, we've been in lockdown, so she did a lockdown project, but also she took it that one step further, where she created a physical exhibition in Bulgaria. She worked with Huawei in terms of the technology part of it, and she created a beautiful exhibition for her final major project. So just in terms of where students go and what they do, there is a real sense of sort of stepping stones between first, second and third year, and then eventually students will end up working on something that they truly really want to focus on in terms of building their career.
Welcome to Behind the Mask 2021. The pop-up exhibition lasted for 3 days on the hall of Bucharest Commercial Center. It's my FMP work for university, and the topic of this project is the way people went through the pandemic period and their relationship with technology that has become more present due to the need of keeping up with others. It is a multimedia exhibition because we're talking about photos, videos, and interactive activities. This exhibition is made out of 4 rooms. On this website, you can see all the work from the pop-up. So, welcome in.
So that was some student work from this year that really exemplifies fashion branding and communication. Just to say that if you were to study this course and what we've seen from our graduate destinations, they do go on to various jobs there is some crossover a little bit with advertising in terms of the art direction, brand managers, communications, public relations, and social media. So a lot of our students as well really enjoy photography, so they go on to be photographers or stylists for fashion brands, or they work in communications for fashion brands as well. So a really inclusive course there. And then just some of the students that have passed through us in the last few years have gone on to Ben's done really well. He's gone on to be a really diverse speaker and a social media influencer, and creates campaigns for that. Sammy went on to do freelance work and has worked for publications such as Also, as well as Matches, Fashion and Glamour. So really, influential. And then Janet as well went on to, as a content creator, she went on to do various forms of fashion through photography, makeup and personal connections, and onwards. So I'm going to quickly move on to our digital media magazine course, which is kind of my background, really. I was a fashion editor for a number of years, and I really sort of bring a sense of my own sort of skills and background to this course. And I've worked and taught on this course in its old guise as fashion journalism. We've brought this on and we've added a real, lots of business stuff in here that I think is going to make this course a real, really good success in terms of the publishing industry, combining with the digital media, of course. So this course is geared up around exploring the vast landscape of magazine media, and equipping you with journalism skills as well. It's about operating you as a creative communicator. So many of our students that have gone on to this course have gone on to content editing, have gone on to becoming journalists, and or magazine editors as well. The course is around building a strong portfolio of work across a wide range of markets and communication platforms. So that means that, creating works for different types of brands, news brands or magazine brands, and then demonstrating a depth of knowledge through the development of innovation. And again, towards third year, looking at your own self-importance through self-promotion. Again, a lot of our students will go on to create final, if they do the BA route, they'll go on to create an end like magazine project. If they do the BSc route, it might be a bit more digital, data driven. So looking at across this core units, you'll do magazine publishing and context and development. So really around that publishing industry and understanding target market and who reads what and why and all of that. So and then we look at, we've put into the program this year a customer magazine project, which is on the up, really. I think a lot of brands now are getting people to publishers to create content for them. So we're seeing it more often now. So we put this into the curriculum this year. So students will go off and we'll give them a list of brands, fashion brands or lifestyle brands, and they'll create a magazine in a group. So like the live industry project in the last course I mentioned, this is more about a group project print that you would do for a client. And then on to a research project in third year, where you will design, where you will sort of understand your audience through a wide range of research materials, and then onto your final major project, degree project. But alongside that, again, lots of elective units in digital marketing through to public relations, through to behavioural studies and consumption. And then onto the shared units again, which we feel was really important and integral to this course. So theory in media, and then onto things like financial management. So knowing really about the markets and how price indexing works and things like that, through to creative innovation and creative leadership. Some of our student front covers over the past couple of years, really high spec, really high professional covers, beautifully shot, beautiful typography and graphics. And then this is just some work in progress as a student lays out their magazines. They print them out as a paginated state, and then they put it together as a digital desktop publishing method. This is some of the student work from this year, which I'm really proud of, considering everyone was in a lockdown situation. The amazing covers that students and the diverse range of covers are really spectacular. And I just wanted to share the bleach one, if I may. Sorry. So this is the sort of thing that our third year students would be putting together as their final major project. So as you can see, it is really high spec in terms of professionally laid out, working with collaboration, photographers, stylists, art directors, models. So you can see that there's a real, a real sense of learning from the first year all the way up to their final, where they work as a group in second year on the customer project, and then they have the confidence by the third year to create their own individual publication of choice. So that's just kind of an example of one of the ones that I was showing you in the presentation. So, and then on to our students and where they sort of end up and where their graduate destinations. Lots of them go into journalism from this course. They might, going through the BSc route, they'll go on to data analytics or digital marketing, and then some of the art routes would be more sort of art director, editor, content creation. So very unique course in a sense of creative business, and really it empowers some of the publishing things that we do. This is Emma. She graduated a few years ago. Her FMP was to design a customer magazine for Liberty of London, a quintessential English brand, known for its textiles. She created a beautiful magazine called Loom, and then after she graduated, she took it along to Liberty and they gave her a job, and she's now working there as a content editor on their magazine that they never had before. So a really, innovative idea, creative business startup that she designed and created, and onwards to a career that followed. I'm going to hand you over to Kathleen now, who's going to talk about advertising. Thanks very much. Over to you, Kathleen.
Thanks, Mark. Are you able to put it back onto full screen?
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, so obviously Mark has gone through two of the other courses that are part of the cluster, and obviously we have some connection with those courses with advertising and those cross units that Mark was talking about, building that community at the university and obviously helping to build your networks as well. So I'm going to run through now what we do with advertising. And I work across both advertising and marketing, and currently the year lead for first and second year. And alongside my colleagues as well, who come from industry as well. So some of the things that I think are really the key highlights of our advertising course in particular are the fact that we have the opportunity for creative and exploratory workshops. Obviously, post-pandemic, hopefully, and pre-pandemic, we had the opportunity to spend a lot of time on campus with these workshops, but we have also been maintaining those online as well. And it's a mixture of academic theory as well as practical application of both analog and digital design in these workshops. We also have strong bonds and connections with lots of advertising agencies. So there's the opportunity to visit agencies, see how they work in practice, have tours of agency, and see what is going on in contemporary practice. Alongside that, we offer a number of workshops and lectures from industry professionals, and that includes the ability to work on live briefs. And I won't go into too much detail about that now, because I know that that Mark has talked about the importance of actually working on live briefs as well. Oh, I think I can change it. Thank you. Oh, no. Yeah. Mark has also mentioned either the 3-year or 4-year program, which we also offer for advertising. And that enables you to do a professional placement year if you decide to do the 4-year program. But alongside that, there is also the potential to do internships and work experience, which can either be done in the summer break or also in 2nd year as well. There's a professional placement opportunity there. We encourage pitch presentations and agency role playing. And we also provide a 360 view of the agency experience. And I think that's one of the key differences that we have in comparison to other courses, where we do look at not only the creative component, but we also look at the planning strategy and analysis as well. One of our key successes in recent years has been the D&AD Awards, which we encourage students to enter. And we have had some successful winners for the New Blood Awards. And we did have one in our 3rd year this year as well, alongside other industry competitions where we also have had winners over the years. Next slide, please. So overall, looking at the course in the same way that Mark went through the different units, you have your core units and you have your electives as well. The 1st year is your foundation year, and we look at theories of advertising and history, as well as looking at marketing and communication, alongside your creative abilities as well, looking at analog design, which is your actual sketching and drawing, and the digital design, looking at the industry software that is used in professional practice. So that is primarily the Adobe suite. Then we also look at understanding consumers. And as I mentioned, we've got this 360 view. So we're looking at the analytics side of things, trends and forecasting, as well as brand identity. I'm not going to cover the boot camps because we've already sort of covered those as well, but everything is kind of bookmarked with this 2-week period, which has a different theme running with every term. Next slide, please. So then we come to 2nd year, and 2nd year is slightly different from the previous courses because you have here the option of either completing a BA or a BSc. So people choose this for different reasons. And BA in basic terms tends to be more qualitative, and BSc tends to be more quantitative. So quantitative meaning more about data, numbers, figures, analytics. So depending on which side of the stream of advertising you want to progress, that will be the decision you make in terms of either a BA or a BSc. You can see here that we have got that professional placement in the 2nd year, which is an option. And if you see on the next slide, please, that if you don't choose that, then you'll be doing those courses there, creative innovation alongside industry lectures. This is the option you have where we talked about this professional practice year, where after the completion of 2nd year, you have the opportunity to go out into industry and do some kind of internship, some kind of placement through one of the agencies, either through your own undertaking or with some assistance from us and our contacts within industry as well. Next slide, please. So then we come to the 3rd year, and I think, as Mark suggested, the emphasis on this final major project or degree project is really one of the key components. And this is the culmination of all your experience through working with your different colleagues, working on the different units, and you're bringing that all together in your final major project. And as you can see here, you have those opportunities excuse me, it should say BA, not MA. You have those opportunities to either focus on the data kind of side of things for your BSc, or on the creative business startup side of things for your BA. And final year, obviously, one of the key things is really looking at where the industry is going to go in terms of the future. So looking at global industry and futures, and looking at the contemporary issues that are facing advertising. So that's how the overall course looks. If we go to the next slide, we can actually look at some of the artwork. Now, I wasn't quite as brave as Mark because I had some videos, but I was a bit afraid that we might kind of go off kilter and go into another page. So I didn't share the videos, but there are plenty of other videos that we could share, some of which are on YouTube as well. But here is some of primarily print work, but we also have some social media as well. The Burger King Build a Whopper, Share the Moment. That was submitted to one of the competitions and won a commendation. Obviously, you're looking at some of the different briefs that we have for charities like Mind, and what was the other thing we had there as well? The Times as well. So there's a whole different range. It's not just consumer products that we're looking at when we're looking at different campaigns that you're going to be working on. And as we said, some of those are going to be live briefs, and some of those will be briefs that we set you to do as well. Next slide, please. So some of the destinations when you are a graduate. So obviously, art direction is something that is alongside a lot of these courses in terms of creative industry, but being a creative director, so running the creative team within an agency is something that's very desirable for a lot of our graduates. Copywriting, we've got some very strong alumni who are now working as copywriters in agencies. Brand management is another avenue that's certainly gaining strength by strength with the rise of brand identity. And then, as I said, we have this 360 view of advertising. So you also have the opportunity of moving into account management, account planning, strategy, or digital and working as a digital analyst as well. And again, jobs that are in quite a high demand at the moment, particularly in terms of analytics. Next slide, please. And we have a really strong relationship with our alumni, and we've had some very successful graduates. Some of them have gone to set up their own agencies. Some have are working now in-house. So in-house creative teams is something that's on the rise in business. And we also have the opportunity for our alumni to come and talk to us and do workshops with the students. So some of them working for big agencies like Ogilvy. And we have an example of two of our alumni who have shared their expertise with current students. So that's Jasmine and Georgia. And they achieved huge success after recently graduating with their adverts for Vauxhall cars. So they graduated in 2018, and they've been working for an agency, McCann in Milton Keynes, since then. So that's just one of the success stories from the advertising course. I think that's it. So thank you very much. So if you've got any questions for Mark or myself.
Yes.
Over to you, Mark.
Over to Dagna. Thank you. Thanks very much. I think that's yeah. Just to say, I think we've pretty much covered most of the things that we done. I just wanted to say as well, one of the new initiatives that we've done for our third years, our graduating third years, that we've set up some awards, with internal awards through the business school with some of our business partners. So we've created our own kind of business school awards, and we're working with various brands such as TikTok and marketing agencies called GOAT. We've worked with Unilever and NatWest Bank to create some of the, in recognition of some of the really great creative work our students have done this year.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mark and Kathleen. Really interesting presentations, and I'm sure our attendees found it useful as well. It's always great to see student success stories too. If you do have any questions, feel free to pop them into Q&A section and we'll take them from there. Meanwhile, one of the questions I guess many of our students and partners ask, what makes UCA Business School unique, and why would you say, if you can just summarize it, I guess, in one sentence, why should students choose UCA Business School over other business schools?
I can do that, and I think I did mention it in my presentation. Our USP is creative business. I think that's our, we do very similar things to other business schools in business management and various other courses. But one of the things I think we do that is niche and that is unique is creative business. We really thrive on the link between industry, creative industry, and education. So education and commerce come together in that sense, and I think that building those building blocks between the industry facing creative business and our own business school is something that we're really that really sets us apart from other business schools.
Excellent, thank you, Mark.
Can I just add to that, Mark? I think too, in terms of our teaching staff and our teaching style as well. And most of our teaching staff come from industry background, as well as having teaching experience. But I think it's also important to talk about the sort of pastoral care that is part and parcel of UCA as well, and that we take that very seriously as part of the whole sort of package, if you like.
Perfect, thank you very much. And I understand business school programs at UCA do not require any portfolio at the time of application, unlike obviously UCA arts and other creative programs. So what sort of candidates are you looking for, apart from obviously students meeting the academic requirements, English requirements? Is there anything additional you would suggest to the students to consider before they make their applications?
Well, I've sifted through hundreds of applications in the last 6 months, and what I really like is, and what I like to see is, a really profound personal statement, of not just specifics to the course, but also, wider than that. So things that people have done outside, that they've, so for example, we've had students that have set up their own small business in lockdown. They've had students that have done the Duke of Edinburgh Awards. We've had students that have set up their own exhibition online, and those kind of business entrepreneurial activities really are some of the things that I think shine through, and they are things that I think that we look for in terms of people's skills. And so they're not just coming here to study the course that they've applied for, but they actually think outside of that arena as well. Do you want to add anything, Kathleen, to that? Or
I'm just nodding in agreement with you in terms of having that entrepreneurial spirit and initiative, and really wanting to engage with the process as well. Yeah. Excellent,
thank you. And how do you think the increased use of social media channels impact jobs in this industry? And do you think there are more jobs available now for students to apply for during studies and after graduation with the use of social media?
I think it's a really good question. And in the last 5 years that I've worked at the UCA, I've definitely seen some jobs go and others come in. You know, I've seen, you know, new markets evolve. And I've seen, you know, such as, you know, mainstream publishing. You know, I just talked about a publishing course there. You know, mainstream publishing declined in the last 5 years in terms of, but independent publishing is on the rise. You know, so where people self-promote and use social media and Instagram to promote their work. We've seen, you know, a massive rise in that. So I think that self-promotion is a really good key attribute to this. In terms of jobs, you know, we've seen students go into social media, into digital marketing from these courses. You know, we have a social media and digital marketing course as well in my cluster. And some of the students that will be doing the 3 courses that we spoke about today will meet some of those students because the course has some convergence there. So, but to answer your question, I definitely think that there is newer markets, and by the time that your applicants here today graduate in 3 years' time, there'll be many more, you know, in terms of automation, in terms of you know, service industry, in terms of service design. So I certainly see an incline for newer jobs that will come into the creative markets in the next few years.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mark. And I guess despite the issues we've had over the last year, lockdown, etc., those jobs obviously can still be done online from the comfort of your home. So I would imagine it didn't really have a huge negative impact on those jobs. And in fact, lots of companies did have to go online, and it might have actually created a number of jobs.
I think so. We've seen PR agencies employ people and they're doing the work from home. You know, they're working with clients and brands from their own 4 walls. We've seen that, and we've seen, you know, that it has slowed down, but it's picking up again now in terms of that. And there is a new way of working. You know, there is a new, certainly a much more, a different feel about the way people will approach the world of work now. And I think that that brands or clients and industry will play a big part in that, in terms of how our students of the future will work. They won't work in the same way that we have or our parents have, in terms of the 9 to 5 days a week. It'll be, you know, hot desking, and it'll be, you know, as and when you need to go in the office. We won't be doing face-to-face meetings in terms of a boardroom setting anymore. It'll be done as we're doing this webinar today, you know. So I think that certainly the world of work has changed in the last 2 years, and will certainly change moving forward, you know. So it's going to be an interesting prospect, no matter, you know, what way we look at it.
Definitely. Thank you. And it's been mentioned work placements and internships a lot, I guess mainly for undergraduate programs. So if you can name maybe a few companies where UCA business school students tend to have placements at, please, if anything comes to mind.
Yeah. I'll start, and then Kathleen can talk about advertising. So for fashion branding and communication, I mean, all the brands I can, you know, the top brand from Farfetch to Matches to working with alongside Rankin, who shoots for Hunger magazine. You know, we've had people go to Show Studio and work with Nick Knight. We've had people, you know, assist graphic designers and go to an agency. And then on the publishing side, we've had students that go either to PR facing companies, so in fashion, lifestyle and beauty, through to to brands and going on to work for and do content creation for brands, but also go to big magazines such as Vogue, Glamour, Marie Claire, Tank, ID, Dazed. So over the years, our students, and they get jobs there. What one really good thing about our students is that when they do a placement or an internship, they get asked back, and that's really a really good thing to know, because I'll speak to students in third year and I'll say, oh, what you up to? And I'll say, oh, I'm working for this PR agency. And I say, well, didn't you do your internship there? I remember, and they were like, yeah, they just kept me on, So I think that that we have really good industry contacts with lots of the major fashion brands, lifestyle brands, beauty brands, agencies, communications agencies, PR agencies, marketing companies, trend forecasting companies, you name it. So pretty much over the last few years, we've made those inroads, those connections, and students are really benefiting from those networking.
Excellent. And it's great to hear that some of the students, obviously, not only they complete their placements during their studies, but actually after graduation, they may end up having full-time jobs in the same companies. And I'm sure you would agree, internships and placements definitely help students to jump onto career ladder quickly after graduation, and obviously enhance their CV and develop all the skills that they need. Kathleen, would you like to add anything to that?
I think alongside that, as Mark was saying, but in terms of advertising, some of the big global agencies that we work with, like WPP and Ogilvy, but also some more cutting edge, more maybe dynamic agencies, such as Mother and Anomaly, who both have still have headquarters in London, but do have a small global presence, but do some really interesting work. But also, again, it's not just about agencies, it's also about in-house. And this goes back to what Mark was saying about where one part of the industry might contract, another part might expand. And there is a big trend for creative teams to work in-house. So we've worked with we've had students placed at Ralph Lauren, and again, same thing. They've continued on and had a job with them after their placement, as well as smaller social media agencies as well.
That's amazing. And I guess for international students also a huge advantage is when they apply for a bachelor's degree, which includes a placement, from the start, they will actually apply for a 4 years visa, meaning that once they're in the UK, they do not need to worry about visa. Once they've obviously secured placement with the help of UCA careers department and UCA industry links, and they can just start a placement on the third year and obviously do it full time as a part of the program, and then complete their bachelor's during the fourth year. So one of the things, I guess, not to worry about is visa implications. And obviously the great thing about the UK now is students can apply for post-study work visa or graduate route, as it's now called, for 2 years after graduation, meaning they don't have to have a full-time job secured. Once they've graduated, they can actually apply for jobs after graduation itself. So it gives them a bit of flexibility and a great opportunity to gain experience in the UK before deciding whether they want to go back home or maybe travel elsewhere or do a postgraduate degree or anything else. I think Kasia had a question.
Thank you, Regina. So students doing professional practice here, let's say for fashion branding and communication, what would be the minimum requirements in order for them to actually be able to pass the year? I understand they obviously would be working full time during that time, but would you be able to elaborate a little bit more? What else would they need to, would there be an assignment based approach there as well, or what would they need to complete?
That's fine. So all of our assessments are portfolio assessments. There's no exams. So they're coursework. So as I mentioned before, over the 6 or 12 weeks, you do a 15 credit unit over those either a 6 or a 6 week or a 12 week, and then you're assessed at the end of that. So we do integral assessment. So we may do 2 or 3. So for example, over the 12 weeks, we might do 3 assessment periods where students would submit their work every 3 or 4 weeks, and then perhaps the end one would be the main submission, so that you'd have 3 mini submissions or 2 mini submissions and then a main one at the end. So we work on a very much a summative and formative, which we call it in higher education. So the formative is there as a assessment that we put in as you go along, which the idea is that you get feedback from our tutors, and that gives the student a direction of travel, so they can see where their learning is developing. And then at the end is the main one with the more summative assessment. So that's where you'll arrive at those learning outcomes that we put in the program, and you will be graded on that. So they're done pretty much through the course, as we showed you the course diagram in terms of the way it's set up. Those as you move into from first into second into third year, the third year is the degree project is a 45 credit unit, so it's a big one. So it's takes up pretty much the year. So that's the way it works. There's no exams; it's all coursework, and it's and through that through the coursework we'll be giving you lectures, seminars, tutorials. There's workshops, so there's technical and creative workshops that are devised within the program so that you can do the projects. So for example, in the business school, as Kathleen mentioned, we've got vast Adobe suites and computer suites, through to if you're doing one of our music courses, we've got sound decks, podcast, radio stations. We've got a photography studio, 3 photography studios, a makeup studio. We've got a camera studio as well. So, although Epsom is a relatively one of the smaller campuses, it actually has quite a good technical resource in terms of what students can do in terms of their creative projects. So some of the projects are much more linear in the sense that they are, less creative, in the sense that you're reaching an outcome through maybe the BSc route, more data driven or statistical, through to the much more in, say, fashion and branding, where we're asking you to create a collaboration between a brand and a message, a perceived message through that. Then you would go off and you would use some of our technical resources to maybe create a shoot or a film or an illustration to create that end outcome in terms of the assessment. Did that answer your question, Cassie?
Yes, but I've got one more question on top of that. Thank you so much, Mark. So during the professional practice year, how many assignments would they be expected to deliver? Given that they're working for majority of that time, obviously, which will fall on the 3rd year of the 4-year course,
if
right?
If they're doing a 4-year program, the professional practice year will be where they go out into industry. So we will be making multiple visits to them in industry. So we'll be setting them briefs alongside that, work briefs, and then we'll make 2 or 3 visits during the year to see, very much like an apprenticeship. If you look at how apprenticeships work, very much similar to that. So we'll follow them and make sure that they're doing the tasks. So there'll be industry setting tasks, but there'll also be academic ones as well.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks.
Excellent, thank you. And I guess a huge relief for some of the students who don't like exams. There are no exams.
No exams. It's all portfolio related coursework.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I think we've run out of time. Great presentation. Thank you once again, Mark and Kathleen. And thank you everyone for attending. I hope you found this webinar useful. And if you're a student applying to UCA Business School, we can't wait to welcome you on campus in September. Have a great day and thank you once again. Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.